What's going on YouTube? It's Jay Rich back again, and today we are upgrading from the Little Wheel to the Stryker. Yes, been waiting to get here. I like these Stryker antennas. So we'll go on ahead and do a comparison, but before we get into it, go on ahead and hit that subscribe right down in the corner. As always, a thumbs up is great. Lets me know you want to see more of this content. And we are on to part 4. We are upgrading today. All right, so let's talk about the mighty Little Will. It is a 300 watt capable mag mount. It comes with the 36-inch whip. The overall height with the whip all the way down will be 39.5 inches if you are concerned about height on top of your vehicle. It uses 14 gauge copper inside for the coil. The coax itself is a RG59. It is a not very great coax. The coax length is right about 15 feet. The end of the coax is not removable, so you will have to find some hole to snake this big PL259 through to get the coax inside the vehicle and hook to your radio. If you want to remove the antenna to go through, say, a car wash or in your garage, a parking deck, you will have to physically take the whole magnet off of the vehicle and stow it in the bed, in the trunk, in the hatch, whatever you have. Moving on to the Stryker SR A10. This is a 10,000 watt capable antenna. It uses what appears to be RG8X coax, and it does not say that on there, nor does it say that on Stryker's website, but it could be RG58, but I'm going to say this is probably a decent coax. This coax measures more like 18 feet. The end of the coax is removable, and I will show you. You screw the collar of the PL259 down, and then you can simply unscrew this, and then you just have to snake this into the vehicle, and then that goes back on, and then the other piece screws back on there. Moving on with this coil, Stryker says it's like 6 gauge wire inside here. I don't know exactly what's in here, but through these little windows you can see the actual spiral of the coil, and they say it is silver plated. Now, if you have a parking deck or a car wash you would like to go through, you simply reach up on top and you unscrew the Stryker. It's got dielectric grease in there. I said goo before, and that hurt somebody's feelings apparently, and they corrected me that it's dielectric grease, which I've never seen brown dielectric grease before, but hey, whatever. So you can simply take the coil with the whip, stow that in your trunk, in the tailgate, in the hatch area. There is a black cap that screws down on here to prevent water from getting down inside and corroding the ends. Then when you're ready to go back on, simply screw it down and give it a snug. Don't over tighten it. One cool feature about this antenna, if you're into it, is that when you key the mic inside these windows, there's a light inside here and it lights up blue. So there's a little blue emitting light out of all these little windows right here. That's pretty cool. The overall height of the Stryker is going to be in the neighborhood of about 67 inches, give or take. The whip itself is at 62 inches versus the 36 inches of the Wilson. So a lot more height, and when you're talking about antennas, height is might. Don't confuse yourself, don't kid yourself. The higher you can go, the better off you're going to be. But for some of us, getting that height can be a challenge sometimes. All right, so now we're going to go on ahead and mount this antenna onto my daily driver, just like we did the Little Wheel. We're going to the same location. We're going to check it out with the same SWR meter, and hopefully we're going to get this antenna lower than the little wheel to stick around and find out. All right, so here we are. We are ready to set the SWRs on the SR A10 Stryker mag mount antenna. And if I hooked it up just exactly as I did the Wilson, if you watched the last video. If you didn't watch the last video, don't worry, there will be a link down in the description for that. But we are going to tune this just the same. We're on channel 1. Let's go over here. We need to calibrate the meter. So key up, bring that needle right over to the set mark. And the line we're looking at is the line in the middle with this thick black. That's the line we're looking at. Now we will switch over to SWR. On channel 1, we are down way low, like 1.1. That is good news. Now we're going to go to channel 40. Go back to set. And get that needle right on the line. It gets touchy when you get to that line. Look at that. We are down below 1.1. That is awesome. Keep in mind when you're setting your SWR, always use an external meter. And you can see in the previous video how bad off this factory meter was by comparison to a actually tuned meter. And always be in an open area. We are in a really open area, just like in the last video. If you haven't watched that video, I suggest you go back and watch it, because this is the upgrade from that. All right, so you saw the reading on the SWR meter. Our channel 1 is a little higher than channel 40. So that means that our antenna is too low. We need to make that antenna taller. So we're going to loosen up the set screws. We're going to move that antenna up just a hair. Not very much at all. Maybe 1/8 of an inch this time. Also, when you're checking your meter, your SWRs on your meter, make sure all your doors are closed, your hood is closed, your tailgate, your lift hatch, your trunk, whatever. All that needs to be closed. Windows, some people say windows up, windows down. I find that doesn't really affect a whole lot. But do with that what you will. So I'm going to go out, raise this antenna up just a little bit, see if we get that SWR perfectly matched. All right, so now I just moved the antenna a little bit. Let's go ahead and key up. We're back on channel 1 here. Get that needle set just right. SWR right down below 1.1. Made just a tiny improvement. Now let's go to channel 40. Remember, we were at like a 1.05 and about a 1.1. See what we got here. Now I could still move the antenna up just a little bit more. Yeah, channel 40 looks like it's actually going down just a hair. So let's make another adjustment. Here we are after our next adjustment. We're back on channel 1. Let's go ahead and set the SWR's key up. Let's get that needle right on the set mark. Flip our switch to SWR. That right about just under 1.1 it appears to be. Let's go to channel 40. All right, let's see. Move our needle. SWR. Yeah, right about 1.5, 1.7, somewhere right in that area. It looks about perfectly matched, really. There's channel 1, channel 40. Channel 1's still a little touch higher, but that is an awesome reading. Remember, tuning your SWRs. If channel 1 is higher than channel 40, your antenna is too short. You need to make that antenna longer. Go up with it. If it's the other way around, channel 40 is higher than channel 1, your antenna is too tall. You need to bring that antenna down. So with both of these antennas on my vehicle, we've been able to get away with just making that antenna just a little bit longer. As to where sometimes you're having to cut the antenna down. Fortunately, every vehicle is different. My vehicle just so happens we just need to make it a little bit taller. So now, off camera, because it's kind of boring, I'm going to go on ahead and see if I can get some radio checks, see if I can reach the interstate with this new antenna. And keep in mind, with the Wilson Lil, we were getting a 1.4 SWR, and with this Stryker, we are getting down below 1.1. I'm super stoked about it. Very happy with it. And also, the Wilson is shorter than the Stryker is. And keep in mind, when you're talking about antennas, height is might. No other way about it. The taller you can be, the farther out you're going to get. All right, so we've got our Stryker antenna tuned in, and I have no reason to believe that this antenna is not far superior than the Little Will. There's nothing that says that. The SWRs were great, down below 1.1. Out of a mag mount is superb. You can't ask for anything better. The Little Will, it got a 1.4, which is still an excellent SWR, but we all like to strive to get down to that 1.0. We all want to be there. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. However, unfortunately, I was not able to get a comeback on the radio check. Now, maybe it's just that time of day. It's pretty early on a Sunday morning, and maybe there's just not a lot of truckers out there with the radios on or do not have a radio whatsoever. And there are plenty of other factors that play into it too. And if you've been watching this series like you should also know this Little Will is going to be up for a giveaway soon. Not yet, but it's coming soon. So, subscribe to get your chance to get your hands on this Little Will. It's a great starter antenna. Don't get me wrong, it's a great starter antenna. I chose to go here so that I could show you a little bit of the differences in them, and my system is going to progress here shortly. So, this antenna right here is not going to be needed, but I'm going to give it away to one of my subscribers. What are the rules? You must live in the 48 of the United States, and you must also already be a subscriber before the video airs that I'm giving it away in. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this one. Down in the description below, you will find links to the previous videos of this beginner series. As always, go ahead and watch my playlist. There's a lot of educational, CB-related content there. As always, a thumbs up and subscribing is much appreciated. Lets me know you want to see more of this content. So, that does it for me. I'm Jay Rich. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.